All right, superstars, we are getting ready for your quiz 2.1 through 2.3. There's going to be several items that I'm going to help you with. You should have a straight edge, a highlighter, and of course your awesome pencil. In case we make any mistakes, we are able to fix it. All right, first thing I'd like you to do, obviously, is to go through the vocab here and try and figure out which ones are going to be matching up. Some of them are definitely a little bit easier than others. So, for example, like letter B, to mirror an image across a line, we should remember that the mirror word is matching up with our reflection. Because again, in the mirror, you've got your reflection. Cross off letter B, and then, of course, look at a few more. You should be able to find these in your notes. And then remember, you also have your digital textbook and your physical textbook at home. All right, now let's zoom in a little bit. All right, number 2, marking the congruent sides and angles if triangle BCD is congruent to triangle YDZ. Now remember, we said that it matches up. The order helps us match it up. So for example, I notice that letter B is first, and that is going to match up with letter Y. So letter B has 2 arcs. So I'm going to do 2 arcs on letter Y. Letter C is next. Letter C has 1 arc. So a letter D matches up with letter C, so that's 1 arc. And then obviously by default, this has to be 3. And then we notice that side BC, those are the first 2 letters. Side BC is mark 1, and that's between arc 1 and 2. So BC matches up with YD, because again, the order matters. YD. And if you notice, it's between 1 and 2. Between 1 and 2. So if I just talked about BC, then I'm going to talk about CD. CD has 2 arcs. Sorry, 2 marks. And then C is in the middle, D is at the back. So DZ is its match. 2. And then by default, of course, we have 3. When you have the pictures and the statement, you can just go ahead and find those matches with the marks and the arcs. But when you only have the words, again, you want to practice your order. So it doesn't matter which one you go through, but I do want to warn you that your 3 letters are the ones that are just a little bit more difficult. So let me help you on just a few. N-O, N-O. N-O is in the middle and the back, middle and the back. So we have S-T, and then we put a single bar on the top. All right, S-T-R, of course, that's going to be an angle. S is in the middle, T is at the back, and R is in the front. So it goes S, T, R. So then finding the match, the middle is N, and that matches up with the S. The T is at the back, the O is at the back, and then finally at the front, nom, nom, nom. So you're going to do the same thing with those remaining ones. Again, not doing everything with you. You're going to go ahead and put some time and effort into trying to find the matches on your own. All right, true or false? Both transformations and reflections result in congruent images because the shape and size of the pre-image and image stay the same. True or false? What are you guys thinking? Reflections is definitely true. But this word transformations is actually talking about everything. And we're actually going to talk about dilations very soon, where dilations actually change the size of it. So if it had been translations and reflections, then definitely that would be true. But using the words transformations, that makes it false. So you're going to go ahead and put a simple sentence there, talking about how if it was translations, it would be true, or you can say the transformations is false because a dilation is a transformation, and that definitely changes the size. 2 figures are congruent if and only if they have all of their corresponding blank congruent and all their corresponding blank congruent. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to actually save that one for you because it should directly be in your notes or, again, your digital textbook, physical textbook. But it's actually easier than you think. Got to use your good notes. All right, as we continue on, the translations again, most students are very, I guess the mastery is there because again, it's just simple sliding around, but the reflections get a little bit more challenging. So helping you on the first one again, translation, this is our arrow notation. We have x subtract 4, which is really left, and y plus 3 is up. Go ahead and take a moment and look at number 7. What little code are you going to put at the top for x plus 1 and y subtract 2? Give you 10 seconds. X plus 1, y subtract 2. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, you should have it as right and down. And if you remember for your translations, all you would do is count. Left 4, up 3. Left 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. Make sure you mark it or label it with the prime, B prime. A, left 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. A prime. And then again, the exact same thing for C, left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. C prime. And then of course you're going to go ahead and connect it to make a nice congruent image. All right, so you're going to do number 7 on your own. Now I do want to give you a heads up. Hopefully we'll see it soon, but the rules are a little bit more challenging for students on translations, primarily because they forget that they need to start with the pre-image and move to the image. So again, you're going to start with ones with the regular letters and you're going to move to the prime letters. All right, if you remember, we just did some reflections recently. Let's go ahead and grab your highlighter and let's make our highlighter line. And then essentially you're just going to go ahead and practice your counting for your reflection, which would be again, count to the highlighter and then count on the other side. Equal distance. All right, really quick. Y-axis. Y-axis. And x equals 2. So I'm going to start at the center. I'm going to go right 1, 2, put a little highlighter dot. Ask myself which way we're going to highlight. If I highlight horizontal, that'd be highlighting the x-axis. I don't want that, so I'm going to highlight vertical instead. In the end, you just count and reflect. So we're just doing that initial setup, and you'll do some counting on your own. X-axis, probably the easiest one. Y equals negative x. Remember, that's the one like it's going downhill. So starting at the corner, it goes downhill. Reading left to right, since negative x, again, it looks like it's going down the hill, down the slide. All right, y equals negative 1. From the origin, you count down 1, put a little highlighter dot, and then you ask, do you highlight horizontal or vertical? We're going to go ahead and say horizontal, because again, if you did a vertical counting or highlighting, then that would be the y-axis. All right, number 13, we're going to finish it all together. But again, y equals x. Remember, that is from the corner, passing through the origin, going uphill, positive. So 11 and 13, again, those are the two most challenging reflection problems on your quiz. Please just be very careful. Gotta have the correct highlighter. That's the first thing we look for. If the highlighter is incorrect, it's automatically wrong. We don't even have to check the points. So you can be extra careful. All right, so let's see here. Take my pencil. Actually, pen. And again, remember, I'm going to count diagonally. So I'm going to actually drag it across, make my new point, and then go back and erase the dragging movement. So again, diagonal counting. We got 1 half, half, 1. So put the little dot there. Let's label it B prime. Go back with the eraser. All right, let's do the same thing with A. Drag, drag diagonally, right? So that's 1, 2. Same thing, 1, 2. Put your dot, label with the prime, go back with your eraser. Remember, the prime is referring to the new image, or what's sometimes called the image. The regular letter is the pre-image or the original image. All right, C, last one. It's the furthest away, so we got to be extra careful. So let's see. Don't count on the black edge of the triangle. Count diagonally. 1, 2, 3. So when I reflect it on the other side again, 3 spaces diagonally. 1, 2, 3. Label it as C prime. Go back with your eraser. And now finally with your straight edge, go ahead and connect it to make your nice congruent image, which has congruent sides, congruent angles. Maybe you heard that. All right, so we've practiced some translations and some reflections. The arrow notation again, as I stated here. Okay, this is translation. It's giving you a small hint on your quiz and eventually your test. It wouldn't give you a hint. It would just be match it up or write the rule. So let's see here. On this one right here, you know what? Oh, okay. These ones are mixed up. If it's a translation, use the arrow notation. There we go. There we go. All right, number 15, if you notice, it appears to be the exact same image, just in a new location. And again, on mine, you got 2 different colors, but on your printed copy, one is a little bit lighter than others. But remember, you want to start at the original letter, called the pre-image, and you want to travel to the prime. So for this one, again, it's going to be movement to the right and down, which is the arrow notation. Because again, it's a translation. Right, again, was x plus. And then down movement is y subtract. So then you really just got to count the boxes. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's x plus 6. And then down would be down 1, 2, 3. Down 3 is y subtract 3. So again, translation using the arrow notation. Reflection right here, if you notice, this one is an easy one that you can determine that it's reflection because it is overlapping. And the overlapping is a hint, definitely, that it's a reflection for right now. So you take your highlighter, and we go ahead and find the middle. Because remember, the line of reflection is in the middle or in between the two. So in between T and T prime, remember starting at the regular, moving to the prime. Let's see, 1, 2 boxes. So in the middle would be 1 box. And then you really just need to ask yourself, am I going to do it or make my highlighter horizontal, vertical, or diagonal? And hopefully you can notice just as we make this line here, that it keeps it balanced for all the points. So our rule would be written as reflection across. Notice it is not the x-axis, it is not the y-axis. Since it is a vertical, it needs to be either CCleaner, yeah, I'll do it later. Reflection across, and again, it needs to be a vertical piece, but it's not the y-axis, it's actually touching the x-axis. So we're going to say reflection across x equals. So from the origin, if you notice, you count left 1, so that is x equals -1. Remember, always think about starting at the original letter, sometimes called the pre-image, moving to the new letter, which is the prime or the image. All right, a little bit more rules there. All right, so you got some true-false statements. This information here, very, very helpful. It's talking about it's already reflected and translated. Ooh, it's a double. It's going to be interesting for what we're seeing soon. But again, these statements here should be pretty basic for you to understand if you look back at your notes and you try and figure out what we've been talking about with same length, same measurement, longer. What do we know about the sides and the angles when we're performing transformations? All right, for these ones right here, this is a translation rule. So again, remember the idea of 4 changing into 5. So remember the 4 is the x, and 4 changing into 5, that would be adding 1, because 4 plus 1 is 5. And then for your y, 3 changing into -2. So that's a decrease. So it's kind of like you'd be counting down. And we know that a 3 subtract a number was going to give us -2, and that would be subtract 5. One more time. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 subtract 5 is -2. That's how you know that you have the translation rule correct. And again, you can try the same thinking on 24. All right. Ooh, I think we're going to go ahead and end with these here. Yep. Okay, segment. All right, we're actually going to do this one. This one's the one that's a little bit more challenging. This one's kind of a preview for what we're going to be doing soon. But if you notice, it's just talking about which quadrant you're going to end up in. So let's see. Triangle ABC with vertices A is at -1, 3. So it looks like we have to plot our triangle first. So let's see. A is -1, 3. So we're going to go left 1, up 1, 2, 3. So this is where regular letter A is. That is in quadrant 2. But if you notice, we're not asking about the regular letters. All right. B, be very careful here. 0, 2. So that means from the origin, no left or right movement, just up 1, 2. And last one, C, is -4, 1. So that means from the origin, I'm going to count left 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1. All right. It says triangle ABC, which we don't have yet. Let's make that a little bit better. All right, this triangle is reflected across the y-axis. All right, so let's start there. Let's go ahead and reflect across the y-axis. We've done this before many times. So let's see, just our simple counting. A is 1, 1. So that's A prime. Notice that B is directly on the highlighter line, so it actually becomes prime itself. It doesn't move. And then C is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be our C prime. All right, let's go ahead and connect it with a straight edge. All right, remember, we're not talking about prime 1, so this one's a little bit more challenging, but it's a preview for what we're going to be doing very soon. It says it's then translated with the rule x plus 1, which we know is right. Oops. And y subtract 4, which is down. So let's see. That means each point has to go right 1 and then down 4. So if I want to start on C prime, a right 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to label this one as double prime. And again, we'll talk more about that later. B prime, right 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4. B, double prime. Hopefully you know the answer already. A prime, it's right 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4. A, double prime. As we were just doing that, stupid lights. One second. Every time, huh? All right, so as we connect them, as you plotted all of those points, hopefully you're recognizing which quadrant we are in. And if you remember, quadrant 1 starts up at the top right. So up here is quadrant 1. Then we have quadrant 2. Then we have quadrant 3. And then finally in the bottom right corner, which is where we are right now, that is quadrant 4. So that means if you did it correctly with me, we have the double prime, which is original image or pre-image, new image, extra new image, and that would be in quadrant 4. But again, it's applying a lot of the things that we've already discussed. All right, you're going to be awesome. You're going to continue on with your assignment and get ready for your quiz. All right, have a great day, guys.